In your personal life, what techniques do you use to keep yourself as happy or as positive as it can be? I mean, you're managing a business, you have a family of yours,
Yes.
and obviously it can be exhausting at times.
Yes, it really is exhausting. And you know, I didn't stumble on this topic coincidentally. I think what I didn't see coming was, even though I was chasing my dream, you know, I was doing something that I've always dreamed of doing. You know, I always wanted to have my own thing and, you know, have my career. And this is something I'm very passionate about. But no one prepares you for the amount of work that requires.
For sure.
And having to do all of this with children, you know, and living independently adds extra stuff. And one of the things I would definitely say is the most essential for maintaining happiness and joy in your life is stress management. Definitely, hands down, the most important thing. If you don't know how to manage your stress levels and how you take things, it's very easy to have everything slip away from you. You know, your happiness, you start developing anxiety, you start creating stress, you know, you start easily getting triggered about little things. And when you're creating something that you really care about, it's even more vulnerable. You know, suddenly if someone criticizes your business, it's going to hit you harder than as if it's criticizing, you know, a company you're working for. And so
part of your identity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So these are the things that you don't know when you create your thing. You know, when you create your own thing, you're like, you know, it's so exciting, it's so nice. But no one tells you, like, okay, be prepared that you're going to have a lot of sleepless nights now, because suddenly you actually care about if that deadline is not met. Now you really care about what that person thinks about you. Now you care about your image and all the, not that you don't care about them in other situations, but it always hits harder. It hits home more when it's your own thing. So I think last year I experienced one of the worst burnouts of my life. The funny thing is I wasn't aware of it. I realized as I reached a certain point, which funnily enough was around my wedding. I got married in November, and as soon as the wedding passed, it's like finally I allowed myself to kind of say, okay, you can relax now, take a break. And that's when I realized how burnt out I was. I was having a lot of also physical symptoms. I had a lot of skin conditions, and also my immune system was very low. I had very high cortisol, for example. And at that point I realized, you know, I said, it's quite ironic and hypocritical that I help people for a living, you know, and I think I do quite a good job at that. And then even the clients progress quite a lot, and they themselves say, you know, you've really helped me. These sessions have been very beneficial. But when it comes to you applying these things, it's a completely different ball game. And I think that's when I woke up and I kind of realized that, you know, even though I am doing things that give me a lot of fulfillment, life satisfaction, at the end of the day, I have to take things slowly. I have to manage my day-to-day. I have to manage my stress levels, and I cannot say yes to everything either. So that's when I learned, you know, the art of boundaries, saying no, and also being okay with letting go and saying, you know, if there are 5 opportunities that are being presented to you, it's okay to say no to some of them. You know, even though they're amazing opportunities. But right now, your priority is to manage that stress. And it's quite amazing how when you treat yourself with such respect when it comes to stress and how much you're piling on, the vibe's different that you get. The response that you get from your environment and the energy is so much better. And this year, I felt like I really put my health and my mental health at the forefront, so I wasn't afraid of saying no. I wasn't afraid of like cutting things that I felt like were not healthy for me, like both socially and physically. So not just like, I'm not talking about food or stuff like that. Life gives you back when you do that, when you give yourself priority. And I feel like it's really showing, because, you know, the opportunities that I thought would never present themselves again have been presenting themselves recently. So yeah, I think for me, the most important thing is stress management, and the ability to stop and smell the roses. You know, having moments, like for example, we had really bad weather recently, for quite a long time. This week that we've had so many sunny days has been amazing, you know, whereas usually I would ignore the weather completely and it wouldn't affect me because I would be so busy. when I walk out of my clinic and the sun is shining, I'd say like, okay, Kelly, have 2 minutes, look up and just like allow the sun to hit your face and enjoy it. And even in just those 2 minutes, allowing yourself to take and soak in that joyous moment can really have contributing effects to your sense of happiness.
Sure.
And the more I've been practicing that on a daily basis, to stop for moments and actually acknowledge what's around me that I can extract joy from, has really impacted my sense of happiness, And suddenly when you feel more happy, you don't really worry when you are missing out on certain things, or if you can't do something right now. You don't feel sad about missing out opportunities. You'll tell yourself, it's okay. And another one will present itself. There is another time for this, It's just amazing how things shift so quickly. And people think that, working on your happiness or it takes a long time or something like that. But I tell clients even, like, sometimes, if you really focus on this, within a matter of 2 months, 3 months, you can really be on your way to major progress in how you're feeling, in the response you're getting out of life. It's not like, it's going to take you 2 years worth of therapy to make that change. It really doesn't work like that.